So astrology is based on this thought that celestial bodies of the universe like sun, moon, planet, constellation have an effect on us. And to a great extent, it affects our personality and our behavior. So basically, astrology claims that whatever is happening on Earth, the celestial bodies of the universe are responsible for it, and our birth date and time play a very important role in deciding this. So we should not confuse it with astronomy, which is a real science that studies planets, their properties, and positions. So guys, there are many people, including some of my friends, who consider astrology also a kind of science, a kind of ancient science that can predict what will happen on Earth through complicated calculations. Because of this faith, they decide many life decisions by looking at horoscopes. So in this video, we see whether astrology is a real science, whether planets and stars really have so much effect on us that they can influence big life events, whether science principles and logic support it. So let's move forward. So guys, astrology is not a real science because number one, it is not based on actual evidence. Number two, we cannot test its conclusions. And number three, most of its predictions we can never prove false. The reason for this is because they are very general. So let's see when astrology talks about the influence of planets. What does that mean? So that force can only be gravity, right? Because gravity is what creates an attraction force between two objects. But this is logical because all planets are very far from Earth. So their gravity should be negligible on us. Because as the distance increases, the effect of gravity starts decreasing. And because all planets and stars are very far from us. So the influence of gravity of people and things around us should be much more compared to any planet and star. Which brings us to the next point. If this planet's gravity has even a little effect on us, then can it alter our thinking or behavior? And can it decide our future? Astrology claims different planets have different influences on different people, but how can this be? Because gravity depends on the mass of two objects and the distance between them, which astronomically in numbers is negligible, and what relation can someone's weight have with their birth date? All these questions are unanswered, and just as updates keep happening in science, which science explains rationally and logically, such updates are never seen in astrology. And because planets and stars are constantly in a state of motion and keep changing their positions, so according to this, there should be even more updates in astrology compared to science. Astrology was believed more in olden centuries when we only knew about those planets that we could see from Earth, which is only up to Saturn. After the invention of the telescope, we came to know that there are other planets in the solar system. So didn't astrology know that there are planets beyond Saturn? This is just the solar system. There are billions of stars and planets in our galaxy alone, so their influence should also affect us. Why only selected planets? Astrology does not have acceptable answers to all these questions, so still, why do people believe in it so much? There are many people who firmly believe that it works, and it tells every single thing of their life with great accuracy. So to know this, Bertram Forer, an American psychologist, conducted a test in 1948. In this test, basically they asked participants to write their birth date and place in a form. Then they collected all those forms and said that they would present a description of their personality based on the details. But they kept those forms aside without looking at them and gave all participants a feedback form in which they had written about their personality. People rated their description as highly accurate. The average rating was 4.26 out of 5. Then they asked the participants to exchange those papers with each other. All participants were shocked because all personality descriptions were exactly the same. They later revealed that those descriptions were taken from a newspaper's astrology column. So this psychological behavior in which humans rate things told in their context highly is called the Forer effect. After this experiment, thousands of such experiments were done, and the results always came similar. The average of these experiments' results till today is 4.2 out of 5. But apart from this test, other tests have also been done. In one test, a French scientist studied the careers of 25,000 people. They collected their birth details, sun signs and moon signs information, and tried to find some astrological relation. According to astrology, people related to Mars planet are more athletic. So they prefer athletes or some type of physical job, and those related to Venus are artistic, so they mostly become artists. But in the conclusion of this test, no such relation was found. Another test by the same scientist was done, in which they mixed the birth charts of 10 murderers with the birth charts of 10 citizens and invited astrologers to tell who is what. In this test too, astrologers failed badly. A similar but even larger level study was conducted in 2007 in which astrologers were wrong even more than random chance. A study was conducted in Manchester about love compatibility between couples using their astrological signs to see if any two signs have more or less compatibility. They had data of 10 million couples from the census of Britain and Wales, and the conclusion of the study was that no two sign pairings were more or less compatible than each other. So what do all these studies tell us? You must have got the answer by now. So does this mean astrology is of no use to us? Well, now you think why it is found in every newspaper's entertainment column along with crosswords and comic strips. So thank you very much for watching this video.